Welcome to another Subie Shaves video with me on a beautiful day. Hashtag Team All Blade and hashtag No Blade Left Behind. Come on in, throw me a Subie smile, and all I gotta say is squad goals. Thank you for being here, for clicking in today's video, and for joining me. Hopefully wherever you're tuning in from, you got yourself something hot in your hand, you're sitting in a comfy chair, and you're ready for a shave. Today I've got just over 3.5 days, almost 4 days of growth, and we're gonna be knocking it down, shaving it off with some stuff that I'm really excited to be talking to you about. We've got North meets East. This just barely released on the Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements website. It is available currently. I was not able to get to it pre-release, but I'm thrilled to have the chance to talk to you about it today. It's a better smelling, in my opinion here, more tasty version of Cella, the almond, the tonka, the burnt sugar on this. It's all very present. It smells phenomenal. It smells gourmand. It smells delicious. And we're going to dive into it head first. I really like this. Huge shout out and massive thanks to Doug, Fran, and Hux for setting this our way to talk about on our channel and kind of discuss their brand new, it came out in the advent calendar, but is now available for mass purchase in the big tub. Oh, it's going to be phenomenal. We're also going to be showcasing and just talking about something I'm really excited about. I've been dying to do this, and I think it's the first time anybody's going to be able to do it, right? And because of that, I'm really pumped. We're going to be talking about the Barbasol Floating Head. This is a beautiful safety razor right from the 30s, and today we've got the modern, soon-to-release variation from the Yaqi group. I am absolutely thrilled. I'm honored, and I'm so excited to showcase and spotlight and demonstrate the two side by side and show you guys just how awesome, how similar, and how it's going to be available for mass purchase, right? This razor right here is very hard to find, and because of that, right, I reached over to Yaqi and I said, let's do a collaboration, let's work together, let's make a stainless steel safety razor version of the Barbasol Floating Head. I know a lot of people have asked for this, I know a lot of people have wanted this, and guess what? It is now, it's ready. Oh, I'm really excited to show this, to have the chance to do a side-by-side using North meets East. It's gonna be phenomenal. I'm so excited to have you here for it. If you're a Barbasol Floating Head razor lover, you're gonna wanna come in and join us for the shave. It's gonna be phenomenal. And if anything, right, it's gonna get you ready for the drop on this one. I do not know what it's gonna be called. I don't have price options for it yet, but I'm excited to show how it shaves and how it shaves side-by-side. Oh, it's gonna be phenomenal. Let's talk a little bit about North meets East before we go any further. This scent is absolutely banging. It's a sweet cream, nutmeg, fir, rosemary, incense, coconut, pine, maple syrup, almond, tonka, vanilla, musk, and burnt maple sugar. That just all comes together, right? If you think about that ingredient list, it almost sounds like something like you're gonna bake or you're gonna cook. That's a dessert, right? It smells absolutely phenomenal. The fir is present. It adds like a sweet kind of almost woody note to it. It smells kind of green, but it's only at the back of it. The musk is there at the back of it. Ultimately, what I get is like this incense, very spicy, very sweet, sugary, delicious. I love this. When you open it, it smells like festivities are in the air, right? Like grandma's upstairs cooking, and it smells really, really delicious. I love the label. I think the label's a lot of fun. You got the cube. It's a little bit basic, right? But it gives you an idea of what you're wearing, right? That's right there is what it smells like. It smells phenomenal. It's very rich. It like I said, it pulls your nose in and goes, it's one of the ones that if you wear this all the time, you're gonna gain some weight. It's gonna make you hungry, and I like that. I like that for this time of year, right? Especially North meets East. It's, like I said, available right now, and it's in that CK6 formula, which we all know and love, and it really can appreciate for its thickness, dense, and really rich, unctuous lather. Don't let me talk about it. Just take a look here. No bubbles, so easy to hydrate. Take a look at the richness, the pilloiness, the thickness, and the slickness there. And the runny, absolutely runny for days. It's a lot of fun to play with, and it goes on just as easy it is to make. I really like this. If you're a fan of really runny, really easy to work shave soaps, I highly recommend. You see the runniness of this the CK6 profile? It's absolutely phenomenal as a base, and and it's super easy to work. Let's get in here and let's dive in and talk a little bit about kind of the journey and the experience we've had so far with the Barbasol Floating Head and the Yaqi Group's innovation behind it, right? The modernization of it. So I reached out to Yaqi. I said, let's do this. They said, do you have one? Is it available? Can we borrow it? So I sent this to China. It took like 5-6 weeks to get there. We had some custom problems. It was expensive. They ended up getting stuck in customs and they had to go get it out themselves, right? But about 5 weeks after that, so this started early, July, I believe. It was like our first interactions. I had it shipped mid-July, and then by like September, I was getting notified that it had been, modernized. And this is what they came up with. You can see it's slightly different. You have the teeth on the Barbasol Floating Head that go all the way down the actual bar, making it kind of like a hybrid scallop bar. It's not quite open comb, but it performs like one, right? And then you have their variation that's flatter with the scallops towards the top. What that does is I find that this actually creates a little bit more suction, a little more drag across the skin for stretching, and then you get the performance of the open comb or the scallop bar up top. You can see that they have absolutely included the floating portion of the blade, right? That was the most important part, is the way that the blade floats over the safety bar. And you can see there's the floating head and the new one side by side. You can just see very, very similar, right? They both utilize that pin system. They all utilize the two-piece build where you unscrew the bottom and it assembles with just a top cap. I like this. It's very, very similar. And that's what I told Grace. I said, these are, when I use them side by side on my face, especially today, you can see how similar they shave. I wasn't getting any performance updates or any like real increase with either or. I will say the skin feel is ever slightly different with the brand new variation versus this one, just because of the way those scallops go all the way down on this version. But take a look here. I think they did a phenomenal job at modernizing and putting their spin on the Barbasol Floating Head razor. Let's get in here. Let's start some shaving. It's going to be phenomenal. Again, 1930s, the Barbasol Floating Head comes out. Barbasol releases it, so that it cuts through the shave. So they're like their shaving cream, nice and easy. The thick, goopy stuff goes right through it, right? Lots of efficiency, lots of gap, and lots of flow. Well, a lot of people, right, tried to eventually kind of, take that design and like kind of run with it. The Conrad company is one of the ones historically that kind of mimicked their brand, but they ended up never duplicating the floating head aspect, right? The actual part where the blade is floating, they didn't duplicate that. And so it's kind of a razor that was lost to time. And because of that, right, they're very hard to find. I ended up sourcing this one from a friend, but in the end, after restoring it, I'm into that razor just over $500, right? So very, very, very expensive. After finding one, they were a ZMAC razor. So one of the things to know about the Barbasol Floating Head razor is when you look at the actual design, the handle here was brass, but then the top part of it, just like a lot of the German razors, is actually ZMAC, right? So you have like a brass ZMAC combination. Well, this is going to be fully stainless steel, so it's gonna last the test of time. And for me, I really like that it's one of those razors that covers the blade tabs. It had the longer handle. I think the Barbasol Floating Head was almost like a modern razor from the 30s. And it's funny because I had a friend reach out and he said he was out searching for razors at antique stores. He ended up stumbling across a Barbasol Floating Head, and he thought it was a modern razor just because it has all of the same amenities as a modern razor, right? That long handle, the very heavy nature to the handle, the Barbasol Floating Head, right? The knurling on it, very similar to something you'd see in a modern era, including the longer head that covers blade tabs. It had a lot of niceties, and so that was one of the reasons I reached out to the Yaqi company. I said, you've done a lot of really nice, beautiful safety razors. I'd like to see this as one of the options and available for everybody to buy, that you don't have to go searching for it, right? That was the biggest downside of the Barbasol Floating Head for me, was finding one. Luckily, my good friend David Place, he had one. He let me borrow one many years ago, and I fell in love with it. It was my it was an absolute crown jewel of the shaving den for me for a lot of years, right? I loved getting that razor, but for me, it was like one of those ones I only reached for on special occasions because it was so nice and so expensive and so hard to get. I like having this. I really, really like. Let me show you. Look at this. Take a look. It is as smooth as the Barbasol Floating Head, in my opinion. It really produces the same kind of shave quality and merit as the floating head. I like this. It's like medium aggressive. It's not ultra aggressive, right? But you get the performance of an ultra aggressive razor with it. It's very interesting to me how similar the two are, yet different. I think the only thing I don't love about this variation that Yaqi has come up with is the handle design. It is that circular design, and for me, it's almost one of those ones where as the lather and water builds up into it, it becomes very slick and hard to get your hand on. That I've been using the alum stick to really produce a lot of grip on it. It's pretty, it's aesthetically pretty, but at the same time, functionally, right, it's a little bit lacking compared to the Barbasol's ultra knurled, very grippy handle here. See, when you compare them side by side, it's the only thing. I do think the actual head profile, though, very similar. You can take the Barbasol Floating Head cap and switch them on, but the other parts from this razor don't move over because this pin is just slightly bigger, so it doesn't quite work with the other head cap. The other design doesn't fit quite as nicely, so you're gonna have to only swap parts on one razor if you end up wanting to do that. Other than that, I think it's an absolutely awesome opportunity to own one of the more rare, more difficult, very, very highly sought after three-piece, really two-piece safety razors. You'll find them sometimes in the wild where this part has separated, right? Where this part's come like unattached. And because of that, right, it's actually become a three-piece razor. But most of the time when you find them like this, they should be a two-piece razor. And when you find them, right, they're often, not very good condition. I've looked and looked and looked, and they're really hard to source. And they're very, very hard to find, especially if you're looking for one that is actually usable. If you want one for a shelf, that's totally different than if you want one that's gonna produce a really quality, close, comfortable shave. Let's grab the Barbasol Floating Head, give it a run here. I'm telling you this, my bathroom right now, it smells so nice. It smells almost, I thought it was an apple scent, to be really honest. And then the smell of almond takes over. And the smell of almond for me is almost cherry-esque, but you got the maple to balance it out. And the maple gives it such a beautiful, very, very delicious smell. And one of those ones that says, something's cooking. Oh my goodness. What a fun time of year. I absolutely love this time of year. All the fun scents come out, right? Everything that makes you hungry. It's hoodie season, and for hoodie season, I can't think of a better scent than North Meets East. I guess this was actually only released as the Advent scent, and a lot of people actually said we'd like to see this, and originally Doug, Fred, and Hux had planned on doing a release, and they ran out of time. I think it's really, really cool for this time of year. Hopefully everybody out there, right, because this did just barely release, jumped over there and picked one up. If you haven't, right, there's still time, and I think you probably still even have a chance at getting one of those foil labels. Absolutely awesome, very comfortable. So you can see here with the Barbasol Floating Head, right, it almost, like as far as the shave goes, this one has less skin suction for sure because of that flat bar variation, right, on the other one where it goes up to the scallop. I feel like this one is a little bit like almost and also a little bit more like not tuggy, but I can feel it, right? There's more resistance. There's more blade fill to this razor than the Yaqi's variation. The Yaqi feels slightly smoother. It feels absolutely a little bit more, I don't want to say comfortable, but less intimidating, right? There's that less blade fill to it, makes it feel a little less intimidating. But as far as performance goes, I think they're very, very similar. You can see that was really like a one-pass scenario right there. Very, very close, very comfortable, very easy to use. Oh, I love this razor. I absolutely, huge shout out to one of my buddies that actually traded me for this because it is a phenomenal shaver. It went through a lot of work. When I first got it, it was in sad shape, and Matt over at Razor Emporium did a phenomenal job updating it, restoring it, and bringing it back to its former glory, and putting a rhodium coat on it that I think turned out really nicely. It definitely feels to me absolutely like, one of the ones, people say, what's an aggressive, what's a high-performing vintage razor? This one for me, it packs some punch, it packs some bang, it packs some kick, but you can see there's no irritation. We don't have any nicks, no dings. It takes down that almost 4 days of growth very simply, very easy. But I am having to almost do a little bit more buffing that I don't have to do on the Yaqi side to get it as close. I find that this razor for me is one of those ones that if I pay attention, I'm really careful, it gives me a phenomenal shave. And I think that's one of the things that Yaqi's group is kind of missing over on their website, was a razor that has a lot of bang, a lot of performance, but in the medium category, right? It has some blade fill, but not a ton, and it can still give you that really close BBS shave you're looking for. It just makes you feel like you're living on the edge a little bit more. Side by side here, side by side, I think I almost like the Yaqi side a little bit better. To be honest, I feel like this side had a little less pass on it, and it feels just a little bit more comfortable and a little bit like, I don't know, it feels like the blade didn't give me quite as much like chatter maybe. I don't know what it is, but it's an absolutely smooth, crisp shave. I really like both of these razors. I mean, when you look at them side by side even, oh my goodness, it's hard to choose if there's like a, a winner as far as like the aesthetics and everything goes. I do like the bar on this one a little bit more. It looks a little more intricate, but when you shave with it side by side, I actually like the performance of the flatness of that bar. We're gonna get relathered up though, and we're gonna find out if we have any performance gains doing a side by side. Come with me. And you caught me. I just really wanted to lather up a little bit longer and get that smell in the air. Oh, it smells so nice, so delicious, absolutely making me hungry in here. My mouth is salivating. It's a beautiful, very, very, I would say, spicy scent. And the spice and the sweet combined together, that's a banging scent. Really like that one. We're grabbing ourselves the Barbasol Floating Head, and we're just going to throw this on the skin and see if we can get anything off of the Yaqi side and kind of feel side by side how they do. I can say this, I really enjoy how this razor shaves. I have enjoyed it since the day I restored it. Right before the restoration, it definitely didn't shave quite as nicely, but now that it's got all the correct plating on there and everything's sitting nice and flush, it's very, 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 very comfortable. You can see here, it shaves without any problems, without any effort, and it's just one of those ones that I think continues to impress me as a vintage razor from the 30s, right? What a very, very interesting, unique. I love this so much. It was one of those ones, it's almost like the Eclipse Red Ring razor, where there's so many nice, special things about it. It's so unique. It just really stands out in the pack when you look at, compare it, to the other vintage razors. But now, I mean, when you sit it side by side, the Yaqi, wow, I mean, I'm having a hard time saying that this is taking anything off of the skin. It feels nice and smooth. It feels like that lather is just coming right off, but take a look. There's nothing in there. Really, really good shave on the Yaqi side. That's all I can say. Really good. And that's why I said, hey, definitely go ahead with it. They reached out to me and they said, do you think it's similar enough that people will, enjoy it and that it accurately represents the Barbasol Floating Head? And I said, absolutely. I think side by side, it'd be hard to tell the difference, right? Other than the fact that that skin pull from the flat bar here definitely adds something to this shave. And I actually really like that. Personally, I think modern razors have really implemented kind of a cool design where that flat bar is actually interactive, but I like the combination of a scallop there. It's like a combination of scallop flat bar. It's very nice, very easy to get a phenomenal close. Like I said, this razor for me has less blade fill. I think this razor is smoother, and I think that what Yaqi has done is almost taken the Barbasol Floating Head performance and kind of smoothed it out, made it a little bit more comfortable and a little bit easier to reach for. In my opinion, it feels a lot less aggressive, and it actually feels a lot more friendly. Like this one a lot. Look at this. Nothing is coming off. And I want to just show that. I really want to call that out because even though it's a beautiful, very nice modern representation of the Barbasol Floating Head, I don't think it's going to, give you a closer, more higher performance shave. But I do think for anybody out there that's searching for one and wants a modern variation they don't feel bad about using, I love this. I absolutely love this. Huge shout out to Grace and to Team Yaqi for going the extra mile and for allowing me to send them a razor that I thought the community would really appreciate having as a modern, innovative, modern take. I think this is really cool. What an innovation, right? In an actual razor that hasn't been, challenged or taken or used in a long time, right? I like that a lot. 1930s just got a huge modern update in stainless steel, and I think that's phenomenal. It was a close, very comfortable, very easy shave on both sides. Yeah, I honestly, I don't think you're gonna have a complaint about either of them side by side, but I think you can appreciate both of them. Oh my goodness. Very, very comfortable. No nicks, no dings. Look at this. No irritation whatsoever on both sides. And that's after going over the dome second time, right? A second whole shave. Really, really comfortable. The skin is just absolutely radiating. It's very soft. It feels very hydrated. It feels so comfortable. I love being a bald man in this scenario because you get such a very, a fun, comfortable, they touch me kind of skin feel. Oh, it's awesome. Thank you all for being here. We're grabbing ourselves a little bit of this lash and we're going to see how we did. Oh, you can just see here. It feels and looks shiny. It radiates. It's awesome. I love, love, love their new option and variation to the razor. I think that they've gone above and beyond. Whew. That's nice. That makes you hope for a little bit of snow. You know what I mean? You got a warm fire. You got a little bit of like a cider or some kind of, you know, spicy, citrusy, sweet drink. Oh my goodness, wassail. You know what I mean? You got wassail in your hand. This is nice. The almond is very present for me. The tonka is very present. The vanilla is there. But then I think the real standout for me is that burnt sugar. It comes in at the end, under the incense, under the... Wow, it's nice. I will say this. I think it has quite a bit of kick to it from the incense. So if you are a person that, you know, has skin irritation from fragrances that are very strong, I would say this one may not be for you. I can already feel that tingle and warm sensation covering my skin and just telling me it's ready for cold. Oh, I loved this. Thank you again for being here for it. It was phenomenal. I'm really excited to be doing these reviews still and have you here for them. It was a phenomenal shave. I hope everybody's season goes great. And until I see you for our next shave, I'm going to get out and enjoy this one. Subes out.